بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Today's lesson in beginner's fiqh, based on a request by one of the hadith disciples, will be on wiping over the socks. Wiping over leather socks, or cotton socks, or polyester socks, or whatever the case may be. The origin of this request is based off of a video that we did in the episode of 5 Minutes of Faida on is your wudu correctly? How to make the proper wudu. Wiping over leather socks or any other type of socks is a branch of the foundation of wudu. And that is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to wash our feet. Okay? Wash our feet when we perform wudu, as we proved or we stated in the last class. The obligation of washing the feet in the Quran Kareem and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, the authentic Sunnah. So therefore, due to the fact that people live in different climates, different countries, sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's hot, sometimes the ground is difficult, whatever the case may be, people are in need of wearing socks. And people are in need of wearing shoes, sandals, boots, whatever the case may be. So from the completeness of the Islamic Sharia and the beauty of this wonderful legal system is that it considers and looks after all times and all places and all people, all colors, all ages, all races, okay? It's not for one set, specific type of people. People live in warm climates, people live in cold climates, old, the young, the strong, the weak, the poor, the rich, the knowledgeable, the ignorant. Everybody has a ruling in the Sharia. The prayer is so important in Al-Islam, so virtuous, so excellent, that everybody is required to pray, no matter what the circumstance or what the situation. And if you have to pray, then you have to purify yourself before you pray. And from the ways of making that purification is al-wudu. So to keep things brief and to keep things basic, these are all from the wisdoms of studying, rather the obligations, the things that prove that it's obligatory, to understand the basics of wiping over these socks. Because there are times in which we said, especially in the modern days in which we live, people wear socks, people wear shoes, people have to pray, people have to make wudu before they pray. So it's a simple, basic equation, all right? So learning these basic rulings is something that is extremely important in Islam. So therefore, we'll try to keep things as simple and as basic as possible. We will seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help and not making things confusing, not mentioning too many different differences of opinion or second or third views. We'll try our best to stick with one basic opinion, simple, plain, easy, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay? So therefore, the foundation of wiping over socks or leather socks, al-khuffayn, according to some ulama, can be found in the Quran al-Kareem, according to one of the modes of recitation, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, idha kuntum min as-salati faghsilu wujuhakum, idha kuntum min as-salati faghsilu wujuhakum wa aydiyakum ila al-marafiqi wamsahu bi ru'usikum wa arjulakum ila al-ka'bayn. If there's a fatha vowel sound, then it means wash the feet. But in another recitation, wa arjulikum, with a kasra vowel sound, it means wiping over your khuffayn, your leather socks, and not wiping over your feet, as some misguided people do. So the ruling of the feet are two, and only two. Either you'll wash your toes and your instep and your heels and your ankle, or you'll wipe over something. And if you wipe over something, then that thing is going to be khuffayn, leather socks, jawrabayn, poly cotton socks, or whatever the case may be, wool socks, or an-na'layn, shoes and sandals. Okay? Either you wash or either you wipe. That's the Quran al-Kareem. As for the authentic Sunnah, the Messenger of Allah Islam, then the asl of this, the most basic foundation, the most basic hadith, well-known hadith, an authentic hadith, is narrated by Al-Mughira ibn Shu'bah radiallahu anhu, in which he said, "Kuntu ma'a an-Nabi alayhi sallam fi safarin." He says, one day I was traveling with the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He says, فَأَهْوَيْتُ لِأَنْزِعَ خُفَّيْهِ فَقَالَ دَعْهُمَا فَإِنِّي أَدْخَلْهُمَا طَاهِرَتَيْنِ أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Once the Prophet used the bathroom and he went to perform wudu, one narration states that he had on a jubbah, like a cloak type of shawl type of jacket over top of his clothes. Okay? And his arms were a little tight. He couldn't reach as much as he normally could. So he went down to, finish his wudu on his feet. He says, so I bent down to keep him from struggling to take off his leather socks. The Prophet ﷺ says, da'huma. He says, leave them be. فَإِنِّي أَدْخَلْتُهُمَا طَاهِرَتَيْنِ أَوْ هُمَا طَاهِرَتَيْنِ. He says, because I put on these leather socks and my 2 feet were clean. In other words, he had made wudu previously before and washed his 2 feet. This hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim, and it clearly proves, and the narration then says, فَمَسَحَ عَلَيْهِمَا. He wiped over his leather socks. So what we've stated from the Quran and Kareem according to one of the modes of recitation, and in this authentic hadith, it is clearly proven that the Muslim is allowed to wipe over his leather socks. Clear. Let's move on to the next point. Nowadays, not too many people, but there are many people. In other words, what I want to say is, there are people who wear leather socks, but a lot of people who wear socks, especially when we come from in America, they don't wear leather socks. So therefore, is it permissible to wipe over cotton socks or poly cotton socks? Or can a woman wipe over silk socks? Because women are allowed to wear pure silk in Islam. Men are not allowed to wear pure silk. Blended silk is a different issue, but pure silk, no. Can a person wipe over socks, such as these, for example? Okay? They would have to be, argyle socks, my personal favorite, but socks, all right? Can a person wipe over these type of socks? That's the issue at hand. We have 2 types of evidences for the permissibility of wiping over these plain type of socks. Socks that are not made from hide or leather. First is a hadith in which there's difference of opinion over its authenticity. And the correct view is that the hadith is not authentic. That the Prophet ﷺ wiped over his socks. But some ulama say it is. And the second proof is the generality of the khuffayn. If it's permissible to wipe over the khuffayn, leather socks, then it's permissible to wipe over socks that aren't from leather. As Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, he says that the jawrabain, the regular socks, بِمَنْزِلَةِ الْخُفَّيْنِ أو كما قال رضي الله عنه. He says they're just like leather socks, okay? So therefore, those are 2 types of proofs. Another proof was narrated from the Sahaba. Several of the companions, from the ulama and the major companions, they all wiped over their socks, their jawrabain. So that's the proof for that. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty. We already explained to you how to make the proper wudu according to the authentic sunnah of the Messenger of Allah. So now, you've made wudu and you're going to wipe over your socks. What do? How do you wipe over your socks? We said that there are certain conditions before we get into how to wipe over the socks. The first condition is that you made wudu or a ghusl, and you washed your feet. You then put on your socks, whether leather or whether cotton, and you had wudu. You had a complete purification. You had tahara kamil. That's the first condition. The second condition, according to many of the ulama, they say that the sock must cover, they say, mahal al-fard, the place that is obligatory to be washed when you make wudu. Okay? And that is, as we've explained in the video, toes up to the ankle bone. Okay? Third condition, according to some of the ulama, they say that the sock must be pure. It can't be najis or najisa. Another condition, according to some of the ulama, they say the sock shouldn't be ripped. It shouldn't have holes in it. However, the most correct opinion is that it's permissible to wipe over a sock that has holes in it. Okay? Me, myself, I have certain socks, argyle socks that I've had for years. My favorite socks, and they have holes in them. Alhamdulillah for that opinion. Right? These are some of the basic conditions of wiping over the socks, all right? Is that they be pure, that they cover the necessary part that has to be covered. They are lawful, they're not stolen, okay? You didn't take the socks from the department store or from another Muslim or whatever the case may be, something like this. These are all conditions of some of the people's knowledge with regards to wiping over these socks, all right? So now, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let's get into how to wipe over the socks, all right? Okay, we have our water, and perhaps we just use a little bit of water. Now, we've already made wudu on the rest of our body parts. Now let's get to the socks. Okay, the first condition, as we said, is that the socks must be put on in a state of purification. In other words, I'm going to take off my socks now just to make things clear, okay? To make things simple, inshallah. Alright, so we cut on the water and we begin washing our feet. We already washed our hands, our mouth, so on and so forth, right? Let's wash our feet, okay? Sunnah, up to the shin, to the calf, as it states in the hadith. Get our toes, thoroughly wash them, right? Now, I'm not going to put my sock on yet. I'm not going to put one sock on. I'm going to wash my other foot first. Bismillah. Wash the second foot thoroughly, like the first foot, pretending like you made a complete wudu. Now, my feet are washed, okay? Now is the time in which you can put on your socks. You may want to dry them off first. That's permissible. Labas. Then you put on the socks. Everybody got that? You put the socks on. So I don't have no tissues here, and I don't have no way of drying my feet. However, for the sake of the video, I'm going to just put the socks on, inshallah. Okay? Put the camera down for a second. Now my feet are going to be a little soggy, and wet socks are ultimate pet peeve of mine. I hate to have wet socks, but inshallah, make a sacrifice for the viewers. Go home and change them, inshallah. Now, let's say we're making another wudu now, okay? How do we wipe over our socks? There are different views of the people of knowledge. The most correct and simple view that we would stick with today is that you wash, you know, just wet your hands. It's not washing the socks, it's wiping the socks. Masah, not ghusl. There's two ways of doing it according to this correct opinion. The first way is to take one moist hand and then gently wipe over the top of the socks like this. That's it. I don't have to wash my sock. I didn't wash the bottom of my sock. I didn't wipe the bottom of my sock. I gently brush the top of the sock. And then with another hand, or with the same right hand, I can wipe the second sock. Gently. That's one way. And some of them might say that you do it simultaneously, that you take two wet hands and you wipe both socks at the same time. Everybody clear on that? Now, let's move on. We said we did not wipe the bottom of the sock, or the side, or to the shin. We just gently brush from the tip of the toes to the end of the instep. That's it. That's all we did, okay? Now, there are other opinions, or other ways of making wudu, wiping over the sock, that we're not going to get into right now. Now, let's move on. How long are you allowed to wipe over your socks? We say that the most correct opinion, and Allah knows best, is that if you're a resident, then it's permissible to wipe over the sock for 24 hours, a day and a night. If you're a traveler, then the most correct opinion is that it's 72 hours, 3 days and 3 nights. Clear. There are several branches that come from that condition, such as what if a person wipes over his socks, then travels? How long is he allowed to wipe? Or the opposite, he travels wiping, then goes home. It's another issue. Another issue is if you break your wudu, or when does the time begin? Does the time begin when you break your wudu? Does the time begin from the first time you wipe over the socks? These are all issues of khilaf among the ulama. Inshallah, the most correct opinion is that the time begins the first time you make masah. The first time that you wipe, and not the first time you break your wudu. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is long khilaf among the ulama. Okay? Subsidiary issues. Another issue is wiping over the shoes. Well, before we go that far, taking off the socks. Does taking off the socks break your wudu? That's a long issue of a difference of opinion, and inshallah the most correct opinion is that it does not break the wudu. Taking off your socks does not break your wudu, inshallah, according to what we feel is the best. Allahu A'lam. There are many, many other issues. Now, wiping over shoes. Can the man or woman wipe over his shoes? Inshallah, the most correct opinion is that it's permissible to wipe over your shoes, but there are a few conditions. And those conditions are similar to conditions of wiping over the socks. That you should put the shoes on upon tahara, complete tahara. In other words, not tayammum, but either wudu or ghusl. Some ulama say that the shoes should be above the ankle. In other words, I can't wipe over these shoes because they're not above my ankles. Okay? And some ulama say that it doesn't have to be above the ankles. And inshallah, that's the correct opinion. Inshallah. Another issue is if you put shoes on top of socks, like right now, is that permissible? Okay, and if you wipe over the shoe, what happens when you take the shoe off? Does your wudu become broken? Okay, that's another issue. Or if you have two pairs of socks on, that's another issue. And many other issues that we can't get into right now. We don't go too deep into the khilaf of the ulama, all right? These are all different issues with regards to wiping off the socks. What we've explained is simple, basic, easy way of wiping off the socks. As I said before, we don't have a world of time here. If there are any other further questions or inquiries or things that you don't understand or things that you want to know further about, then inshallah let us know. Hopefully we can provide you with information, or at least tell you in the information and what you can find, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah knows best. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be of those who have understanding of His deen, understanding of His religion, which is the best gifts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah knows best. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you to all Hadith disciples for watching and tuning in to this lesson. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.